Hello. A little late. It said 6:30, but I here I am at 7:16. I'm sitting on the floor. I've got my DVDs and Blu-rays on the couch and on the floor here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show my other favorite movies, but I'm also going to show honorable mentions. So like guilty pleasures, maybe, or just films that maybe I didn't put in my favorite films of all time that are beside the top 10, but I still like a lot. So I'm going to have to mix it up. There's a lot of movies, and I don't think this particular stream um, I can do them all. It's going to take a long time, so I might restrict myself to a certain amount of time and then get back to it, maybe tomorrow or maybe Thursday or Friday. I'm not quite sure. Maybe the weekend I can finish it. I've really got a lot of stuff, and I thought I'd have maybe a little less. Well, I also considered ones that I didn't think is my favorites, but they were honorable mentions. I like them a lot. So, anyways, let's get to it. So, anyways, the first one. Now, this is one of my favorites. I love this movie. I've watched it several times. It's Fight Club. This is a special edition. I know they came out with a Blu-ray of it a while back, but I like this. It's got nice packaging. For some reason, one of the DVDs won't stay. Well, it's staying now, but it doesn't usually. Um, yeah, take one out of each. There's Brad Pitt and Edward Norton. And you got this nice book that comes with it, with some disparaging kind of comments about it, like I think Roger Ebert talks bad about it, and they quote him in this. I think I'm pretty sure they do. Yes, like he says, Fight Club is the most frankly and cheerfully fascist big star movie since Death Wish, a celebration of violence in which the heroes write themselves a license to drink, smoke, screw, and beat one another up. But I think there's more from him on here as well. Anyways, yeah, so I want to apologize. Last stream, some people were asking me questions and I didn't answer. I guess I was concentrating on showing my movies and didn't get to them. But the special features are fantastic on this. They tell you how they did the special effects, how they designed the sets. They got nice storyboard gallery. You get to see like different angles. You get to choose different angles, like behind the scenes stuff, and you can switch back and forth, I think. And it's got a nice menu of like TV screens. It's very well tailored, and I just love this box set. So that's Fight Club. And there are some David Finchers, some other films I have in my collection, but those are honorable mentions. I don't know if I'll get to that today or not, but anyways, that's Fight Club. Let's see, where else? Where should we go now? Okay, so I have two favorite Spike Lee movies. I don't have one of them. I do have the other one, and that's Malcolm X. The other one's Do the Right Thing. This is not the special edition. It's just the movie. I'm not sure if it has the trailer in it. I have the book By Any Means Necessary. I still have to show, some of my book collection. But I don't think I showed that book By Any Means Necessary yet. I haven't watched it in quite a while. Now touching on Scorsese rather. You got Raging Bull, signed by Catherine Moriarty, who played Vicky in the film, and Paul Schrader, one of the co-screenwriters. This is a nice edition of Raging Bull. It's got the nice packaging and nice special features. That's Cathy Moriarty's autograph there. And let me see if I can take this out. Let's see. That's a nice shot, I think. But yeah, it addresses. Oh, there's a nice book too. You know, I think I showed some of this stuff in my whole collection. So maybe I'm sort of going down memory lane or repeating the same stuff, you know, that you would have seen in one of my past videos. And if you're a newer subscriber or a person that is not acquainted with those videos, then you know maybe you're not aware of those things that I said on that particular video. Where? Oh, I let me see something. Oh, here we go. We got 3 audio commentaries. One's by director Martin Scorsese, one's by editor Thelma Schoonmaker, producer Erwin Winkler, not Henry Winkler, Jake LaMotta, and more. 4 behind-the-scenes featurettes, the Bronx Bull making. So you've got pre-shooting and post, I think, in all of it, and it's a lovely set. Yeah, I just love this, and it's one of my favorite movies. My Taxi Driver is my personal favorite, but Raging Bull is a close second. Beautiful cinematography, the way they use slow motion, the way they use flames, you know, it's for like an effect. Yeah. And now we have my other favorite of Scorsese's, signed by Paul Schrader as well, Last Temptation of Christ. This is a Criterion. It's pretty nice Criterion. No artwork on the inside jacket, but you know the book and disc. Oh, I didn't know that, Carlos. There was a version of the Red Shoes. Does he say that on the DVD or? Yeah, I thought this was a booklet. It's just a pamphlet. Other people, you see it like a 2002 Criterion release right there of films. Of course, I got tons of movies to get to, and I'm sort of slowing it down by doing all this. But this is like a list of their titles at the time, and at that time, it went up to 143. Of course, there's much more now. There's like 700, 800 or something, maybe 900. Video essay. Yeah, well, the Red Shoes, I think, was, of course, George Romero. He really liked the Red Shoes a lot, I think. I think he says so on Day of the Dead, which I watched for my Halloween marathon. And one of those, actually, 2 of the Dead movies are 2 of my 4 favorite horror movies of all time. I didn't get out Night of the Living Dead. I forgot all about it. I'm not going to show that. It's just mixed in with a bunch of other movies, and it's a cheap copy, so I don't need to show it, I don't think. Anyways, so now we get to Spielberg. I have some honorable mentions of Spielberg. Well, do I have just one? Or maybe another one would figure in there as well. But I have two definite favorites and a third, which I think maybe it's a favorite as well. But anyways, Schindler's List, which I know somebody that I know doesn't, isn't too fond of, I guess, but for me, I love it. Says the list is absolute good. The list is life. Beautiful cinematography by Janusz Kaminski. And it's got a nice, I think it's a booklet, or maybe not. No, it's a pamphlet. Well, it's sort of a pamphlet. Talking about his, I don't know if I can read this. Well, also it features stuff like the Shoah Foundation and hearing actual Holocaust victims. It talked. Oh yeah, Kubrick had criticism. Trying to get this back. Okay. Yeah. Well, anyways, it has. Yeah, the Shoah Foundation story with Steven Spielberg, voices from the list, people that were part of the actual people that were the people that are portrayed in this movie. I find this movie moving. It's a tearjerker at the end when the crowd around the car, and he's leaving them. That's always breaks me down. And there's a video I did called "Films That Make You Cry," which was oh, hello, Wolf Gratz. Films That Make You Cry. There's a video I did. Another YouTuber, I think his name's Robert Harrison. He did a video of that, and maybe was asking other YouTubers to do a video on it, so I did. So, anyways, to continue with Spielberg, we've got Tom Cruise in Minority Report. Not only is this one of Spielberg's best films, I think, but it's also one of Tom Cruise's, I think. It's based on Philip K. Dick. It's got some nice special features, like how they did the special effects, the stunts, the sets, the digital design. Spielberg, I think, is a person that doesn't like commentaries. Maybe I'm wrong on that. See Spielberg and Tom Cruise there, and then you see a picture from the film. And I have watched this more than once. Well, Schindler's List as well. So these are very rewatchable movies. But that's Spielberg, And I'm not I watch a lot of foreign stuff, and I like a lot of intellectual kind of things, but I do like entertaining movies, that kind of leave your brain at the door and have fun, But this is intellectual too, it's a deep, it's a thinking movie as well about the ethics of arresting people before they possibly could commit a crime. Yeah. And then this one is I don't know, maybe it's an honorable mention. It's from the Indiana Jones box set. I know Sasha said that Kingdom Crystal Skull he doesn't consider one of the part of the series, and I agree with him. But anyways, the first one is a really good movie. Raiders of the Lost Ark. It says Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, but it's not really. When you went to the theaters when I was a kid, it was Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then when they did further editions like video cassettes and box sets, they called it Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. But if you watch the actual movie, it says Raiders of the Lost Ark, so. How's the moose paste does work? Yeah, so, and that reminds me, I have I forgot all about this. My Blade Runner box set, talking about Philip K. Dick. I showed all this in, my collections past. But probably, well, maybe some people haven't seen it. It's all this razzle dazzle. You know, it's got a folder and a lenticular. Um, I don't know. I showed this on a video before. You know, you move this. And I don't know if it's so. Oh, you do envy the set, yeah. Um, and it comes with this folder with some artwork. It's really nice. I really like this a lot. I do not know if this was a limited set, you know. I think some of these drawings are by Sid Mead. Yeah, Sid Mead did some of these drawings. Ridley Scott did some of these pictures too. Like Ridley Scott did the picture here, I think. I can't read it. Oops. Storyboards. I think that's Ridley Scott's storyboards. Put a little lenticular. I don't know if you saw that lenticular, this thing. I don't know if it's moving well. If you can see it, if I can get it right. I think that the glare is not helping. I don't know. And then you get a toy unicorn. And you get a spinner car. So, and then last off, I was going to show this with, I forgot all about Blade Runner. It's one of my favorite films of all time, too. It's my favorite Ridley Scott movie. And you know, I do have a few honorable mention Ridley Scott films in my collection, but I'll do those later. Maybe not in this stream. And then every time I open this, I think one of the discs falls out. I don't know if I'm gonna, oh shit. See, you got each one has one of the characters. You know, Roy Batty, Pris, Rachel, Deckard, and Zora. And it's always some of these really have terrible cases, you know, like what was that other one I showed you? I don't know what it was. Oh, the Fight Club one, the Fight Club, yeah. The same thing happens with your DVDs. I'm not too worried about will they play or not. I know they will. They'd have to be really damaged. I'd have to really, scratch them up. I don't worry too much. I know they're not damaged. And I know that some DVD, Blu-ray collectors, they worry when, you know, um, like uh, like they get a certain type of case and they're afraid that the discs are going to get scratched, you know. But I don't care, and I don't care if I have a Time Bandits Criterion, and I left it in my car, in the back, back windshield, and it has a lenticular cover to it. So I left it out in the sun, and what happened was the sun bended the lenticular cover. But I can only go so far into buying again and again and again, and I'm not gonna buy another Time Bandits. It's good enough for me. At least I have the movie, and the movie's one of the most crucial things. The movie's more important, I think, than the cover. Even though I like certain design, like my Lawrence of Arabia, my Blade Runner, and I wouldn't like it to be damaged, but it doesn't really matter too much. All this stuff, like if I bend one of my DVDs that has or Blu-rays, it has like a paper edge to it. If I like chip it or whatever, I don't care, because as long as the movie's okay, why bother, But I know some people care about that stuff. I'm just reading your comments, Wolfgratz. Okay, so now let's see. Some David Lean. Now, I said some of these movies might be honorable mentions. This might be an honorable mention. Maybe it's one of my favorites, The Bridge on the River Kwai. It's my second Blu-ray of David Lean's, besides Lawrence of Arabia. So, and I don't know if I've looked. I think I looked at this. I borrowed it at the library, I think. But I don't know if I watched my actual copy. And I don't know if there's special features on here. Yeah, Alec Guinness and William Holden on the Steve Allen Show. No, I haven't seen that. Archival audio of William Holden narrating The Bridge on the River Kwai, premiere, creating the bridge, pictures and graphic tracks, and more. So, anyways, yeah. Well, when you talk about Zhivago, Wolfgratz, right? I got that. I don't have the Blu-ray. It probably looks fantastic in Blu-ray, but Brief Encounter, I'm not too wild about it. I saw some kind of a documentary on Kubrick. Maybe it was on YouTube, and they were saying whoever this person was. I don't know if it was Stephen Baxter, or I think he's one of the people that writes about Kubrick, but he said that when Kubrick started, he was just just a decent director, nothing big, and then later in his career, starting with maybe he said Lolita, but or maybe it was Paths of Glory or Killing. It was The Killing, or no, maybe at a certain point he said he went into another stratosphere. So so that's sort of the thing that leaned to me. But I haven't he did some Dickens adaptations, I believe. David Lean, those might be good. This does have a documentary on it. I think it's like an hour long. There's the movie right there with beautifully shot forest scene. I think the cinematographer was Freddie Young. Got, I think, like Bolsheviks there, whatever. See, I got dings on these things. And, some people that collect movies, they get all, you know, it disappoints them, but I don't see the big deal. So now we get to David Cronenberg. I think my favorite Cronenberg is Videodrome, the Criterion. I don't know if I understand it completely, um, but it's just weird and just what happens in the movie, just visually, is just really interesting. I wonder if millennials would get it because it's a beta cassette there, and maybe they'd get it. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too passing a blanket statement. But it deals with videotape and old cable. We don't have, well, we have cable these days, but we have the internet, and this is before the internet. But I find this film fascinating, and I don't think I totally get it, but that's okay. It's about a sleazy snuff. What is that snuff? Like a porn guy on cable, and he finds this channel called Videodrome where they like torture people, and he wants to find out more about it. And he's on a talk show with I can't remember the character's name, but she's played by what's her name? Debbie Harry. Yeah, and she wants to try out for Videodrome. He doesn't want her to. This one's pretty good too, Scanners. This is another David Cronenberg movie. I do have another honorable mention Cronenberg movie, History of Violence. I'll show that when I get to it. That might not be this stream, but maybe not maybe, but at some point. This is nice. Another Criterion. Don't really get Cronenberg. Yeah, I don't know if I get everything of Cronenberg's movies. Like there's really no artwork there. I think this is a DVD Blu-ray combo pack. He's into that body horror stuff. He's got some interesting films. Shivers, Rabid. I don't understand Crash totally, but I mean, I guess I get it, but I don't know if I loved it. I don't know. I like a lot of Cronenberg stuff, though. The Brood I find kind of humorous. With The Brood, I find the Brood's humorous, even though probably it's supposed to be scary. Eastern Promises, yeah. History of Violence, I think, is one of his best films recently. And Scanners is, I don't know if you've seen the movie before, but they had this ability to use their minds to affect, well, I don't want to spoil it. They can do things with their minds, just put it that way. Okay, so I got through those. Let's see, what else can I do? How long I've been on? Oh, I've been on 30 minutes. Okay, so Coppola. I showed Apocalypse Now for top 10 favorite films of all time, tentative top favorites. But I say they could be replaced by other films like David Lean, Lawrence of Arabia #3. I could replace it with Dr. Zhivago or probably Bridge on the River Kwai as well. But this was my other favorite Coppola, Conversation. You know, I think it's probably a film that's sort of forgotten, maybe. Well, I don't know if it's really forgotten. Film buffs, film fans, they probably are aware of this movie. But maybe it gets overshadowed by Apocalypse Now and The Godfather for other people, you know? So, you know, like the average person that's not into cinema, maybe they're missing out on this. Because this is really a gem. It's one of the great 70s movies. Not that I was born in 72, but the 70s films I've seen, it's one of the best, I think. Oh, and I had it somewhere else too. I don't know where I put it. I don't know. Well, it's the second in a series. Well, they've had many series. It's the franchises. I don't know if it's one of my. It might be an honorable mention. I have two different editions of it. I have the first one as well. The first one's pretty good. Yeah, I really like The Conversation too. So, anyways, I got two editions of it. This edition and this one, Terminator 2. And the thing about Terminator 2, this is one of the ones I really wanted to buy at the time. The thing about this movie, this one, you get the storyboards, but back in those days, like early 2000s, you had lots of text, you know, you went through. And so it was kind of hard to maneuver and find out like how things were done. So this is kind of a more easier way to do things. You know, so you watch a movie, an icon comes on, you click on the remote control and it tells you how they're doing that effect as you're watching the movie. Well, not as you're watching, but it goes to a particular scene that they're shooting, and you see the behind the scenes stuff. And I think that's pretty fascinating. And it's a good, entertaining film too. And I was going to show Terminator 1, but I don't know where it is. It's somewhere around here. This is probably my favorite Russian movie. It's my favorite Tarkovsky. I don't know. Well, I should get Stalker. I should get into Stalker a little bit more, but that's not what it is. Yeah. Well, Wolf, Sasha, I guess, likes Terminator 1 more. He does a conversation between him and LJ about it in one of his videos. But Ivan's Childhood, which was Tarkovsky's first, is very uncharacteristic of Tarkovsky's of usual movies because, you know, Tarkovsky has a signature long takes and, you know, just this is an excellent use of sound, of atmospheric kind of sense of things. I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly, but it's about a young boy and how he's used like as a scout for the Russian army while they're fighting the Germans during World War II. I just love this movie. I think it's a lot of fun. I don't know. It's just really good movie. And yeah, so maybe not the greatest, happiest ending, sort of a happy, sad ending at the same time, you know. Okay, so let's see, where should I go now? Well, I have some of the movies on the couch and I have others on the floor. I think what I'll do, I'm at 34 minutes now. What should I do? I'll do some Japanese movies. As I've said in some of my previous videos, I want to go to Japan. So I had some Kurosawa. Maybe I'll stop before the Kurosawa. And then next streamer, next streaming video, I'll continue with. I'll start with Kurosawa maybe, but this is by Shohei Imamura, and it's called Vengeance is Mine. It's about serial killer, and I don't think Japan has tons of crime. Well, like stealing. Like I think I saw on like YouTube, like on a Watch Mojo thing, Japanese people are wealthy. What there's some other few. There's one about crime. Japanese. They don't have the same court system as we do. They don't have a jury, I think. So like there's no reason to steal because nobody's in poverty, and I don't know. A friend of mine was saying Japan's not the utopia you might think. I don't know. I don't know if any country is a utopia really, but maybe each country has its ups and downs or whatever, it's pluses and minuses. But this is about a serial killer in the 70s. I think it was the 70s. I think this is a book. Yes, it's a book. So you got this nice artwork. Criterion just does a beautiful job of these with the movies. Yeah, there are a lot of Yakuza movies. Let's see. Okay, now this is not Japanese, but it's Oriental. So I put it with the Japanese ones. I put another one that's Japanese, that's Asian with the Japanese ones. But this is the first one. This is a great movie. I love this movie. It's like 3 hours long, but it's not boring for a second. It's Touch of Zen by King Hu. I think it was shot in Taiwan. I think if this film wasn't made, you'd never have Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. But it like goes from like different stories, like a historical Ming Dynasty kind of story to a horror story, like a ghost story, to a samurai story or whatever, and then a Buddhist story. So it has all these twists and turns to it. I like it a lot, and he uses a lot of wide angle lenses that are slightly distort the image, but it doesn't mind. It doesn't really affect me that much. Next one is. I don't know what country made this film. I don't know if it really was Mongolia, but it's about Genghis Khan. It's called Mongol. It's about how he became, who he was. And I don't know the language they speak in this, but I guess it's kind of a violent movie. It's an interesting film. I like historical movies, So now we go back to Japan. This is by Kaneto Shinoda. Kaneto Shindo. It's a film called Kuroneko. If you watch my Halloween videos at the start, you see this image right there. Of course, the irony of that was I went on Google Images and uploaded this image onto my computer, not realizing that it was the same thing I had, But anyways, it's about this mother and I think it's her daughter-in-law. Her husband leaves to fight in a war, and these samurai come across them and they kill them, and they come reincarnated back as cats. It's a horror movie. I don't know if I guess I said that. But he's made some other horror movies. He made Onibaba, or maybe only made Onibaba as far as horror movies went, or go, or whatever. And he made Double Suicide, and he made, what's the other movie? Oh, Pale Flower. And yeah, double dipping images. Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, I have all my films together in certain categories, like all Japanese films together. Then I go by director. Then I go earlier films by the director to later movies. So, of course, I think I showed all this when I was showing my collection. So I don't know if you've seen it or not before. So Wolf, do you own any Criterions? This is a Blu-ray right here. It's two films, another Criterion, Lady Snowblood and Lady Snowblood Love Song of Vengeance, directed by Toshida Fujita. I don't know. Lady Snowblood, really good movie. And if you hear the music for it, it's used in Kill Bill. And I'm watching a series from a friend of mine called Female Prisoner. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Some of mine are waiting for viewing, too. Fair amount of them. What was I saying? Female Prisoner Scorpion. I watched, there's 4 of them in this Arrow box set that he lent me. And I watched the first 2. The first one was called, I guess, Female Prisoner Scorpion. And then the other one was Female Prisoner Scorpion 401 or whatever. They're pretty good. They're violent and have lots of like sex in them, but they're pretty entertaining. They're a lot of fun, This is a really good movie by Ozu. I don't know if I included other Ozu movies. I think I have another Ozu in my honorable mentions, but this is one of my favorite Japanese films, Tokyo Story. I don't know who Daisuke Beppo is, the Japanese person. I don't know. This is an elderly couple, and they're trying to spend time with their adult children. Their adult children basically don't want anything to do with them. They have, but they have a daughter-in-law who was married to their son, and their son has been dead, and she's far more courteous, and she thinks of them first before like things like her job, and she bends over backward for them. Maybe that's part of the Japanese culture, at the time. Because at one, I don't know if it's this way as much anymore, but Japanese women were subservient to men in a certain sense. So now we got 2 films by Kan Ichikawa. Oh, I should go with this one first. Fires on the Plain. There's an Ozu box set, an Eclipse box set up there, but I guess I didn't put it down. Maybe I should have included that. Well, I could put in honorable mentions in another video. I think when I get to the 1 hour mark, about 16 minutes from now, I'm gonna stop streaming, because I'll just go on. I have a ton of movies. If you saw how many movies are on this couch and on the floor, you would say, wow, late Ozu set. Yeah, I think that's what it is, an Eclipse set. So this is Fires on the Plain. Oh, I also had the Silent Ozu box set too. I only watched part of that one. Um, Really good movie. I think it's based on a novel. I think the soldiers are stationed on, is it Guadalcanal? Don't know. And the main character, it just shows that war is futile and you know, it leads to nothing but, you know, despair. And it's got some interesting shots in it, like one of the soldiers trying to be like a Buddha, and another soldier resorting to cannibalism, but not in a truly gross way. I wouldn't say. Good movie though. Then we got another Kon Ichikawa, The Burmese Harp. This is a version. Oh yeah, well, Fires on the Plain is definitely worth watching. I'm just moving around because my legs hurt from time to time. So this is about a soldier. He plays the Burmese harp when they're walking through the jungle in Burma, and if he plays the harp a certain way, that means that danger is ahead, or if he plays it another way, the coast is clear. And the rest of his platoon gets caught by this British group, and they're put in a prisoner of war camp, and he's sent forward to this like mountain to check things out, and he's mistakenly like buried in all this rock because they thought he was up to no good. It's kind of hard to explain well, I don't know, it's hard to explain. They like fire a shot, it sends down some rocks, and he's nursed back to health by a monk, and then he becomes a Buddhist monk. And really good movie. I did see another Kon Ichikawa film, I think. They called My Coco Sisters. I think I watched that because I think my library where I work owns it, and I think I watched it, and I wasn't wild about it. It's sort of like David Lean. I haven't seen Ryan's Daughter. I don't know what that's like, but Passage to India, I don't know. Maybe that wasn't that fantastic a movie. Maybe I should watch it again. I have a completely different opinion of it. You know what I mean? But I know that like David Lean was heavily criticized after he made Ryan's Daughter, I think. Maybe by Pauline Kael. Okay, so here's a Japanese box set by another really good Japanese director, Hiroshi Teshigahara. These are like art movies. There's Pitfall, Woman in the Dunes, and Face of Another. Face of Another stars Tatsuya Nakadai, one famous Japanese actor. It comes with a nice booklet. I'm sort of rushing a little because I've been on so long. And then you get the supplements. I think that's Tatsuya Nakadai with Hiroshi Teshigahara there. Yeah, Passage to India was just, I don't know. I haven't seen it in a long time. I saw it like in the 90s, or the late 80s. So I was younger then. I don't know what you mean, Wolf. So that's the Hiroshi Teshigahara box set. Obviously, this was going to take much longer than an hour. Probably much longer than 2 hours or maybe 3. I that's such a big collection. I don't know, maybe I have 1,000 films. And of course, if I buy films, what films am I going to buy? Usually, I'm going to buy movies that I like, obviously. So, obviously, of course, I'm going to buy lots of movies that, I'm just going to buy a lot of movies that I like. And it's hard to pick favorites in a certain way, in a certain sense. I mean, there are some guilty pleasures I have. I think there's some bad movies I own, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the out of print, but the Blu-ray should be available, Carlos. Oh, okay. Which one? Oh, the Burmese harp. Yeah. Well, maybe it's on eBay, Let's see. I could do some Kurosawa, but 51 minutes. That's going to take too long. Let's see. I got Bergman. I'm just going to end off with Christopher Nolan, I think. Actually, I have another Nolan, I think. Oh, no. That Nolan I haven't seen. These I have. So that's okay. And I do have another Nolan, but I wouldn't consider it one of my honorable mentions. So, well, the other ones are my favorites. Well, this one's maybe they're all my favorites, the ones I'm going to show you. This is Memento, signed by Joe Pantoliano. This edition, you have you have that many? Oh, yeah. They had this setup, Yeah, they can be pricey, I guess. There's that Fassbinder box set that's out of print that I can only find on Amazon and eBay. It's called the BRD Trilogy. So I've seen it on sale sometimes. But, maybe I'll have to get that somehow, like through a gift certificate combination or something. But it's kind of hard to navigate these DVDs because in order to access the commentary, the special features, you have to take these tests. They're not related to movie tests. They're like these. I don't know if they're IQ tests. They're like I don't know. They're these quizzes or whatever, and you have to get them right, and you have to keep forwarding, and it's just the Easter egg. Have you got the Easter egg that plays in the story? Oh, I've heard of that. No, I don't know about that Easter egg. Do you have that Memento yourself? Okay, so then he made Batman Begins, which I don't know. Dark Knight I probably like just as much. But I don't know. Maybe I like Batman Begins just a little bit more. I think it's one of the few. I'm not a I'm not a superhero kind of person. I'm not into that kind of stuff. Um, but this I thought was good. And the original Superman, by which I'll show at some point. It's just I'm not into comic books really, but that's what it comes with. So we got Dark Knight, and I had this on DVD originally, but then it had grown on you, yeah. Dark Knight. I had the original DVD of this, and then I saw at the library where I work. They have in the basement. The Friends of the Library sell used DVDs and Blu-rays and new ones too if they're not open, and they're only like $2-3, so I can pick these up cheap. And I originally had this on DVD, but then I found it on Blu-ray. So, which is the case with the second one I'm going to show you, Christopher Nolan's. And The Dark Knight wasn't a bad sequel, I thought, but Dark Knight Rises, I really hated. I thought it was a recycling of one and two, sort of like Toy Story 3 was a combination of one and two. And the only good thing about Toy Story 3 was the starting, in my opinion. But this is in Inception. I guess it's got a lot of special features, storyboards. Yeah, I don't know. It should be a lot of fun to watch all the special features. And 56 minutes. Okay, I'm going to end on this one. I'm not really a Trekkie, and I don't really watch Star Trek. I'm not really that kind of a person that's into that kind of stuff. I like science fiction, fantasy stuff, but it's not really my bread and butter. You know, I mean, I like Star Wars. I like the earlier Star Wars, really. The first two, 77 and 1980. But I've watched the other Star Wars, but I don't know. I haven't seen Solo, but I don't know if it's on my priority list. There's other films that I really want to see more. Like films from Iran, or I'm thinking of doing a series on Iran. On my channel. I've mentioned that on previous videos. My voice is getting kind of hoarse now. I noticed. I brought in some water with me. I think I did. Maybe I didn't. Thought I did. Well, I'm almost done. So, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. I remember seeing this. Not my thing. Yeah, I might see it anyways, just for the sake of seeing it. Yeah, this movie. I don't think you have to be a Star Trek fan to really like this. The character of Khan. He's a good villain. His wife has been killed by how the planet got the planet he was on got altered, and these creatures killed some of his. He was good for Ricardo Montalban as Khan. I saw Star Trek II at the Jacob Burns Film Center, and the director of the film was there. And he says the question he gets most asked all the time is about Ricardo Montalban as Khan. He says, "Are those really his abs?" People wonder, does he really have that kind of a body? And they said, yes, he does. So he said, yes, he does. Yeah, it's a whole hour. I have too many movies. Well, I don't know if I have too many movies, but I have a lot of movies. So, but this has some special features. I think maybe it has a commentary. Yeah, it does have a commentary, maybe more than one. And I have I don't know if you've heard of ILM, Industrial Light and Magic. The first one they did was New Hope, Star Wars, and they've done several special effects for films afterwards. But they worked on this movie, so and there's a good performance by William Shatner. Not that I'm a huge Shatner follower or Leonard Nimoy follower, but all it's a well done story. It's a pretty good film, and the ending's pretty interesting. Yeah, yeah, the wrong movies. Yeah, I have a few bad movies, but you know, I think for the most part, I wouldn't buy these movies if I didn't want to watch them or have them in my collection. I have no idea, of one day whether or not I'll watch all my movies. Maybe that's impossible. I have streaming services, maybe the theater. Just how can you tell? How do you know um, you're going to see everything? You probably can't, I guess. But all right, so I guess I'm pooped out right now. Um, I got a ton of movies to show, and it's going to take forever, I guess. Um, I thought it would be kind of it would just when I collected all the movies, it would just go like this, but it didn't go like that. So, anyways, these movies I'll put back where they go, and maybe I'll be back tomorrow or Thursday or both, to show you more stuff. I tried right now to do the stream because I thought it would interfere with other people's streams that I sometimes are on, like CPs. Well, I don't know if I'm a CPs. Sometimes I visit CPs or Aaron Pin or Sasha's streams. I ain't got time to bleed, and Sexy Monkey. That's two of his channels, and Aaron Pin. Who's somebody else? I don't know. Okay, so anyways, um, I'm gonna sign off. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the near future. Bye bye.